Hit stream. First we're doing these audio tomes. And then
A Damned Souls Orientation Guide, Chapter 14. The Ultor Corporation. Dane Vogel is an example for what the best of you can become. A businessman who serves as my thrall. This megacorporation exists at my leisure, and assuming it continues to serve my interests, I will allow it to persist. A Damned Souls Orientation Guide, Chapter 27. Judgment. The destruction of Earth has created a massive influx of souls. However, whereas Hell had infrastructure in place to process the souls quickly, Heaven languished under St. Peter's watchful eye. Even now, St. Peter is only finally processing the last batch of humanity. When the war comes, we will be ready, and God will scramble to keep up. A Damned Souls Orientation Guide, Chapter 25. The Forge. For the time being, mineral rights in Hell have been granted to the Ultor Corporation, and the Forge is where they mine and process the materials that are used to build the very foundations of Hell.
Anyway, we're listening to these first, and then we'll get on to the 7 deadly weapons, aka 7 deadly sins.
A Damned Souls Orientation Guide, Chapter 40. Shadow Demons. Relentless assassins. The Shadow Demons teleport from rooftop to rooftop, ensuring that there is no place to run to in Hell. A Damned Souls Orientation Guide, Chapter 11. Eternal Suffering. Often the first instinct a newly damned soul has is to kill himself, hoping that it all gets sorted out the second time around. Well, that's a mistake. The soul explodes into 1,000 pieces and slowly and painfully reforms over the next 100 years. So the next time you see one of those spineless souls running for cover, you'll have a better idea as to why. Why didn't I lead with that tidbit? To punish those who think they can survive without heeding all my words. A Damned Souls Orientation Guide, Chapter 26. Old Hades. When Father cast me out of heaven, he intended Hades to be a pleasant time-out space. But my fall shattered his gilded cage, and my anger twisted Hell into the world that now spreads before you. The Damned Souls Orientation Guide, Chapter 10. The Pit of the First. The center of New Hades is where I made my descent from heaven. As I crashed into Hades, I fractured the land into the 5 islands that now spread before you. As you pass the Pit of the First, it is customary, though not required, to bow your head in reverence. A Damned Souls Orientation Guide, Chapter 29. The Marshalling Grounds. A marvel of occult engineering, the marshalling grounds allow my armies to travel effortlessly across Hell. Developing the teleportation magic was not without its incidents, however. Few can forget the screams of Trinket the Bear when he was marched forward to be the first test subject. A Damned Souls Orientation Guide, Chapter 19. Downtown. The De Winter sisters have revitalized downtown to make it the destination for high-end debauchery. A Damned Souls Orientation Guide, Chapter 35. The Grunts. Proof that upward mobility exists. The souls selected to be grunts of my army enjoy delights husks could only dream of. A Damned Souls Orientation Guide, Chapter 12. The Barrens. Once a lovely location for bacchanals and ritualistic murders, the heavenly host laid waste to the Barrens in the last war between heaven and hell. I have forbidden rebuilding the Barrens, so it serves as a reminder for what we lost. Only after I lay siege to heaven will I allow it to return to its former glory. A Damned Souls Orientation Guide, Chapter 17. The Battlegrounds. This graveyard is where dead of the previous war on heaven were buried. Here it is rumored that demons and angels alike haunt this place to this very day. A Damned Souls Orientation Guide, Chapter 20, The Flotsam of Hell. Newer souls often marvel at the floating islands that surround Hades. The reality is that those islands are not rock at all, but fossilized remains of the beasts of Babylon, winged creatures that once served me, but in their hubris dared to believe they could overthrow me. As punishment for their mutiny, I encased them in stone where they flew. To this day, their blood still rains down, burning the pitiful souls that walk below. A Damned Souls Orientation Guide, Chapter 21, Transportation. The price of vehicles in hell often bar all but the most enterprising souls to acquire one. Yes, they are often stolen. Yes, they have a tendency to spontaneously combust. But the thrill of driving with the windows rolled down even for a day can be worth the decades it takes to afford a new one. Oh, and we also don't offer insurance. A Damned Souls Orientation Guide, Chapter 16, Shantytown. Unless you are particularly enterprising or have powerful friends, you will ultimately find yourself in Shantytown. It's crowded, oppressive, and your neighbors will likely try to murder you to steal whatever paltry wealth you've amassed. Enjoy your eternity. A Damned Souls Orientation Guide, Chapter 4, Keeping Your City Clean. As is imaginable after an influx of souls from an exploding Earth, some souls slip through the cracks. These unrefined souls litter our fair city and could be a quick source of upward mobility to an individual who finds as many as they can. While the promise of economic mobility seems promising and not hell-like, naturally such prizes are highly contested and are the source of many conflicts. A Damned Souls Orientation Guide, Chapter 3, Economics. The currency of hell is comprised of forged sins. Every piece of pocket change is actually thoughts of adultery, murder, and gluttony. A Damned Souls Orientation Guide, Chapter 39, Legionnaires. Second only to the Archdukes, the Legionnaires purposefully wear less armor so that they may embrace every aspect of pain on the battlefield. A Damned Souls Orientation Guide, Chapter 30, The Halo. Forged by God himself, my halo was a repository of great power. I spent millennia harnessing its might, and even then, I barely scratched the surface of what it was capable of. A Damned Souls Orientation Guide, Chapter 1, The Damned. Welcome to hell, O ye of questionable morality. Who you were on earth no longer matters. When you arrive here, everyone from the mightiest crime lord to the elderly gentleman who takes pens from banks begin the same way, as wretched ghouls wandering the streets. As a shadow of a man, you are stripped of your sins and condemned to a meaningless existence. Eternal playthings for a demonic host who is all too eager to ply its trade. A Damned Souls Orientation Guide, Chapter 33, The Deadly Sins. No longer just delightful pastimes. Pride, wrath, envy, lust, gluttony, greed, and sloth have become personified in the form of weapons. Only the most deserving wretched soul will be blessed with one of these treasured artifacts. A Damned Souls Orientation Guide, Chapter 13, The Den of Eternal Suffering. Don't let the official name scare you. This wonderful location serves as our entertainment district. Take in one of Shakespeare's passion plays, enjoy a septuple way, or maybe just settle down for a sinfully perfect hot cocoa. Here you can find it all. Yes, these delights are oppressively expensive, but is it really that different from San Francisco? A Damned Souls Orientation Guide, Chapter 37, Plague Bearers. The men are just grunts with bigger weapons and a fancier title, but hey, it keeps the people happy. A Damned Souls Orientation Guide, Chapter 38, Imps. Little bundles of pure sin. These adorable mischief makers serve as perfect pets or slave labor. A Damned Souls Orientation Guide, Chapter 24, The Black Cathedral. When I was first cast into perdition, my father built this chapel as an opportunity for me to repent. I leave it standing to remind him that I defy him not out of anger, but out of will. I will never bow to God again. A Damned Soul's Orientation Guide, Chapter 34. The River Styx. The River Styx surrounds New Hades, providing warmth and light. I recommend every soul to go for a swim in the river at least once. It's quite the experience. A Damned Soul's Orientation Guide, Chapter 6. Soul Drains. Runaway sins are attracted to these drains so that every unclaimed penny can fill my coffers. I also enjoy dancing shows and found the name ironic. A Damned Soul's Orientation Guide, Chapter 23. Sinterpol. This privatized militia is one of the two primary peacekeeper groups in Hell. Obey them, and they may only beat you within an inch of your life. A Damned Soul's Orientation Guide, Chapter 28. First Aid. Periodically, you may get injured and seek first aid. You may find this to be problematic, as ambulances in Hell get paid a premium to run over people instead of helping them. A Damned Soul's Orientation Guide, Chapter 22. The Spires. Our aerial defenses are a precious commodity, and are only to be deployed upon angelic threat. A Damned Soul's Orientation Guide, Chapter 5. On Hoarding Sins. Some of the more frugal of the damned take all their worldly possessions with them when they travel, fearful of leaving things behind where they can be taken. Naturally, I've made it incredibly easy for you to spot those individuals, so you may mug them and capture the sins for yourself. A Damned Soul's Orientation Guide, Chapter 18. Dimensional Communications. There are many ways to sow horror on the mortal plane. While haunted VHS tapes have fallen out of vogue, there are still a multitude of ways for our demons to communicate with and torment your loved ones. A Damned Soul's Orientation Guide, Chapter 7. The Day to Day. Every day will be terrible. A Damned Soul's Orientation Guide, Chapter 32. Interlude. I hope you enjoyed Chapter 31's step-by-step instructions on how to sneak your way into heaven. A Damned Soul's Orientation Guide, Chapter 15. The Powerful. You'll notice a few souls that don't look like the others. These damned citizens have paid enough wages of sin as tithes to transform their appearance into one reminiscent of their former life. A Damned Soul's Orientation Guide, Chapter 9. The Coming War. The time is coming when the heavenly host and the demonic horde will have their final battle. And while I will personally deal with my father, Hell needs a general that will lead us to victory. Vlad was found wanting. I have my sights on another. A Damned Soul's Orientation Guide, Chapter 8. The Archdukes. Every marshalling ground is overseen by one of my archdukes, the fiercest men and women of my army. A Damned Soul's Orientation Guide, Chapter 36. The Dark Inciters. These elder demons direct the lesser denizens of Hell, summoning them to die on their behalf. It is never wise to incur their wrath. A Damned Soul's Orientation Guide, Chapter 2. Promotion. You can never dash dreams without hope to build them in the first place, which is why I offer you a way out of the simple life of a husk. When a soul is deemed worthy, he is given a demon body, a gun, and an incredible sense of pride. Naturally, after years of torment from the demonic horde, they are all eager to be on the other end of punishment. They become the personification of cruelty and ruthlessness, as I intended.
And now we are about to hear the people that we find and save and recruit, so enjoy that as well.
When I arrived to Hell, my reputation preceded me, and Satan was quick to court my aid. He promised me a new body, a fiefdom, and a castle in exchange for loyalty. I happily agreed. I trained his army, maintained the peace, and ferreted out Satan's enemies. But all of my loyalty meant nothing when I committed the unforgivable sin of failure. I led Hell's army in the last war. I warned Satan that we didn't have the forces for a prolonged conflict, but Satan demanded action. Ever the soldier, I obeyed. But despite my best efforts, the angelic host decimated my forces, just as I said they would. Satan was outraged and blamed me for his poor judgment, and sentenced me to eternal torture. I tried to escape that insidious prison time and time again, but it was useless. The wheels on the bus kept going round and round, round and round, round and round. Returning home was not the experience I had hoped it to be. It was desecrated by lost souls that thought it would be fun to throw events on my property while I was away. I hope the beer pong games were worth it to them, because when I find them, they will all beg for the mercy I will never give. The fiefdom I control has since fallen into disrepair since my incarceration, but the land and all the souls that reside there are still my responsibility. My subjects will at first be loyal out of fear, but after they obey, they will see that I can be a magnanimous ruler, and their lives will be better for my involvement.
The Barrens were the only place desolate enough to allow me to build the Queen Anne's Revenge in peace. Before I discovered the Barrens, all of my efforts would be overrun by people looking to cause me harm. But here, the energy it would require to ruin my day wasn't worth the wasteland they would have to traverse. Being a pirate with no water to sail on is like being a pirate with no water to sail on. I tried to build a craft that could weather the lava, but each time the craft and crew would erupt in flames. That's why today, the Queen Anne's Revenge sails on thermal currents and arcane magic. Yes, the arcane magic is doing the heavy lifting, but I'd like to believe the sails are still doing something. The Barrens are as good a home as any pirate could ask for. It's remote, devoid of people, and perilous to get to. Here I can live as a pirate king for the rest of my eternal days. Robbing galleons and avoiding the crown was a thrill, but it's nothing compared to robbing the denizens of hell. Life without adventure is no life I'm fit to live. Here, the stakes are beyond simple life and death. Hell is where I'm meant to be. I don't know who placed those glyphs that lead to treasure, nor do I care. The chase is all that matters. Some may question why I would bother revealing the location of missing treasure when I could find it myself. But the answer is simple. Competition. With no one else looking for the treasure, there is no incentive for me to find it over robbing other demons. Without another race to find the prize, those chests just sit there dormant, and treasure is meant to be found.
Everyone's chasing the Stygian dream down here, a way to make hell just a little more tolerable. And when you're surrounded with that amount of desperation, believe me, it's easy to find people who lay it all on the line for next to nothing. Some folks think I had all this handed to me and I take advantage of people, but here's the God's honest truth. In life and in death, I worked for everything that I had. Opportunities mean fuck all if you do nothing with them. Most of these poor bastards down here whine about their lot in life, but are unwilling to do anything about it. That's not me. Know your limits. It was the best piece of advice my father gave me, and I ignored it because I was a fucking idiot. I was the director of special projects for Ultor, and I pissed it all away because my ambition got the better of me. The reality is that I'm a kingmaker, not a king. I'm not going to make that same mistake twice. I'd be a liar if I didn't say I got a little pissed when the would-be president shot me in the face, but after a couple years of reflection, I realized something. They had the same look in their eyes that I have. They were driven. And when I realized that, I knew I wanted to prepare for the moment they would come down to hell, because on that day, I wanted to be standing with the Saints. I knew that when the leader of the Saints came down here, he wasn't going to be interested in hearing what I had to say unless I had a pretty fucking big peace offering. Perfect opportunity came after Blackbeard robbed Satan's palace and stole Lucifer's halo. Blackbeard knew that he had to unload it fast before Sinterpol raided the Barrens, and so he was willing to put a price on an otherwise priceless artifact. It cost me a fortune, but it was worth it. Satan would never suspect that I had it, and I could bide my time until the leader of the Saints was hellbound. My plan was solid, but not even I could predict a shotgun wedding. Satan forcing Jezebel to marry the president definitely put a wrinkle in things. For one, I wasn't sure if Johnny was going to let me explain the situation before he killed me. For another, I was entrusting the most powerful artifact in the world to someone who had worse impulse control than teens on prom night.
Downtown looked like a shithole when I first got here.
In all fairness, you were in hell.
True, but where others saw status quo, I saw opportunity. I knew that if I wanted to revitalize downtown, I would need clout and capital. I just needed to find the right business venture to get started. I looked at the market and saw that Sinterpol was the only game in town for defense and law enforcement, and knew I could create a powerful alternative. Soon, Cerberus Security was founded. Viola and I always did everything together.
Played together,
Went to college together.
traveled together.
Formed a criminal empire together.
I always thought that we would die together.
Sorry, V. Beat you to the punch on that one.
After you died, all I had was revenge. I never thought that I'd...
Feel whole again?
Yeah.
I love you, sis.
Me, you too. By the time I showed up in hell, Cerberus and Sinterpol were already locked in a bitter fight for dominance of the marketplace.
We never would have pulled ahead if it weren't for you.
You would have pulled it off.
I'm not so sure. The strategy you put together was brilliant on both the martial and marketing side. I'm good at getting things started, but you were the one who always put the exclamation point on a plan. With us reunited, it was only a matter of time before we were on top of the world. Revitalizing downtown wasn't about profit.
It kinda was about profit.
A little bit.
Like 50%.
The point is that it was also about making an impact. An eternity is a long time, and we both wanted to carve out something beautiful in this terrible place.
Like Dane says, hell's what you make it.
Things are going perfectly. Downtown was rebuilt in our image, the money was rolling in, we had an amazing penthouse.
But then something happened. Sinterpol, who was long since relegated to obscurity, came back with a vengeance.
They had new gear, new weapons, and new purpose. Destroy Cerberus.
Someone is funding them, and we are going to find out who.
I was never destined for obscurity, but no theatre company would even entertain the idea of putting on my works, preferring to read plays written by lesser men. To them, I was a laughingstock, a fool who only wrote base comedies. I was willing to give anything to have my works be given the credit they were due. Some may question if selling my soul was worth it. Obviously, those people never met Marlowe. The passion plays I wrote for Satan were simple and formulaic. The context didn't matter so much as ensuring that the action was consistent and exciting. He didn't see those plays for the plot. He saw them for the spectacle of murder. That being said, the comedy about Iago and Aaron the Moor's roommates was a real hoot. Jezebel, my pupil, my muse, a demon with the voice of an angel. Oft would I sneak into her room to read scenes and wear funny hats. She would write these plays, these terrible plays, but the subject matter was happy and hope-filled, and that was enough for me. I was a fool to think that those times could have lasted. When I left the palace, my name carried much weight, but I knew it wouldn't be for long if I didn't keep myself relevant. I spread rumors that the reason I was cast out by Satan was that my ambition rivaled his own. Soon demons would come to me in secret, asking what I had planned. I adopted a persona, speaking grandly in the third person to make me larger than life. In a matter of time, my cult of personality transformed into a criminal empire. The tragedies. Today, my reach is great. My minions have infiltrated almost every aspect of hell. The army, the brothels, even Dane's so-called secret Tacos Marlowe's branches. No secrets are hidden from me. Your lover, your father, your brother-in-arms. Anyone could be working for me.
Alright, time for 7 deadly weapons, aka 7 deadly sins. First one is envy, which is a sword. Flaming, sexy ass sword.
Better run.
What kind of sword does this? I love it. Alright, next one is pride.
Watch them bleed. Who wants to play?
I wasn't even pressing the buttons on. Damn power drainer thing? That sucks. Okay. Next one. Greed. This does it. Oh wait. Greed. There you go. Turns them into that, which is kind of like money.
I'll fuck your world up.
So I'm gonna keep my navigation. There we go. Next one is lust. Oh, what the? Someone gets out of that. See, lust.
Come on.
You lost, baby. Lol. Anyway. Sloth. Oh, oops.
Life is good.
Gluttony. Another 7 deadly sins. Wait, this is up? Oh, whoa. I don't even know that. Anyway, that's all of the 7 deadly sins, aka 7 deadly weapons in this. And there's other weapons in this too, which are kind of cool. You just like that. Yay. I like God's hammer. That's cool. It's not one of the deadly sins, but yeah. I think that's Locust. That's not a deadly sin. That's four horsemen of the apocalypse. Nah. Locust. If they had war on here, like gun, that is frogs. So, shit. What? It's one of the horsemen. It's 2. Guessing that's no, that's not war. Oh. I should add it like more guns. Seriously. I'll show you what those ones do. This one,
I can do this all day.
so that is definitely horseman. And frogs.
I kind of want to keep this.
Stream. All I wanted to show you. The turns I did during the start of the stream. Yeah. I'm sure there's more guns. So much better. So yeah, stream, thank you for watching. Hopefully it was interesting. See ya.